Year when Golden Boy Kurt Browning of Canada won his third World Championship, and Olympic gold seemed in his grasp. This year, he's plagued by a serious back injury, an obstacle that could deny his ultimate dream in Albertville. Last year, two-time U.S. champion Todd Eldredge joined the world elite as he captured a bronze medal at the World Championships. This year, he too is slowed by a back problem, having to withdraw from last month's U.S. Nationals. Last year, a bewildered Christopher Bowman was on the brink of collapse. This year, he's back, and 3 weeks ago regained the national title. Last year, they were the USSR, the Soviets.
I feel I don't have a flag, and I don't have the music of country.
This year, the flag of the International Skating Union, not the Soviet banner, was raised when Petrenko and his teammates competed and dominated in the European Championships. Meanwhile, this year, the latest on the best of the U.S. That's all today as Sports World presents this World Figure Skating Championship Preview.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Costa Mesa, California. We're at the Ice Capade Chalet. This is the training home of the newly crowned U.S. men's champion, Christopher Bowman. And we'll meet the controversial and colorful Bowman a bit later in our program. And we'll take you to Lausanne, Switzerland for the top competition. European Figure Skating Championships completed just a week ago. We are 8 days and counting from the beginning of competition figure skating in the Olympic Games, and it won't be long, March, when we'll be reporting live from Oakland, California, NBC, bringing you the World Championships. It's a most exciting and important time for the sport of figure skating, and I guess, Sandra, you are well qualified to express the emotions of what this time is all about.
The Olympic Games, I get nervous just thinking about it. And for the skaters, it's an anxious and exciting time and a chance to fulfill dreams. But can you imagine the pressure of knowing a lifetime of work gets summed up in about 7 minutes of performance?
Oh, my, and no one escapes that, and especially those who are favored to win a medal or a gold. And as we look first at pair skating today, immediately you look to the Russians.
That's right, they're called Russians now, and the Russians have dominated pair skating for the past 27 years. 24 titles went to the Soviet Union. Since 1964, the Olympic gold medal has gone to the Russian skaters. Yep. Current champions Mishkitunik and Dmitriev are definitely the favorites. However, they will be seriously challenged by the Canadians Brasseur and Eisler. They've been silver medalists twice, and the gap is narrowing.
Any chance for an American to medal?
Well, last year, Kuchiki and San won the bronze medal at the World Championships, but they lost their U.S. title just a few weeks ago. So I'd say that the bronze medal is probably open to about 5 different teams, 2 Americans, 2 Russians, and maybe even a Canadian.
And the #1 pair in the world, the defending world champions from St. Petersburg, are the Russians Natalia Mishkitunik, Artur Dmitriev. They are coached by that formidable and fiery lady, Tamara Moskvina. Moskvina, back in 1988, remember, she predicted that this young pair would win the gold medal in the 1992 Olympic Games. They are on course. Mishkitunik and Dmitriev, here they are from Lausanne.
The Malet Ice Center on the shores of Lake Geneva. Here's 21-year-old Natalia Mishkitunik, Artur Dmitriev, he's 24. They led a 1-2-3 Russian sweep in last year's Europeans, and then they captured the gold at the Worlds in Munich last March.
This program, choreographed to Liszt's Liebestraum, became a classic after that performance last year at the World Championships. It's a fluid, lyrical presentation of pair skating. But if there's a weakness, it's Natalia's solo jumps. And they open with side-by-side triple toe loops. It's a 2-foot landing for her.
We'll see her strength later, and that is her incredible flexibility.
Side-by-side jumps may be weak, but her throws are incredible.
Train with Tamara Moskvina in St. Petersburg. She is formerly from Minsk in Belarusia. He was raised in the north near the Arctic Circle.
Side-by-side double axels. It's not working for her today. You know, it's extremely difficult competing at the European Championships or Nationals just a couple of weeks before the Olympics, because it's always in the back of your mind that you don't want to peak too early. Visibly tired, they're not skating to the level that they'd like to be at this point. It's a somewhat flat performance. Maybe due to the fact that she's been ill for several weeks before this championship.
He's a little wobbly too, isn't he?
Yes.
Showcasing her incredible flexibility, Natalia Mishkatunik, Artur Dmitriev, European champions, 1992.
A great team, but not a great performance. They're going to need these next few weeks before the Olympics.
Then the award ceremony that caught them totally off guard. No USSR flag, no Soviet anthem. Mishkatunik, Dmitriev, and their coach were emotionally shaken. The realization of the end of an era.
We thought that they will do it with the old flag and anthem. And then I was looking and realized that our country doesn't exist anymore.
The championship acknowledged by the flag of the International Skating Union. Mishkatunik in disbelief.
Really, it was not happiest moment. Sorry.
It's a big surprise for me. I don't know.
Unfortunately, yes.
This is the like defeat. our strong country, our strong country always was on top, and especially the skaters. And we did it not only for skaters, we made it for the country too. And now it's sad.
An emotional Moskvina assimilating a very powerful time, a time of change, the end of an era. Can you imagine, as an American, should you win an international championship and it comes time for you to be on the podium and it's not your anthem, not the Stars and Stripes, but a generic flag and anthem. And in fact, in the Olympics, it will be the Olympic anthem and the Olympic flag that will be raised should Mishkatunik and Dmitriev or any other Russian win a gold medal. Well, next up from Lausanne, the men's competition. It featured the man from Prague, Peter Barna, and Viktor Petrenko, the stylish Russian. We'll go to that right after this. Head to the Olympic and World Championships, it's not just man against man, but it's man against injuries. Kurt Browning of Canada has won the World Championship the last 3 years, would be the favorite to win the gold medal. He's been sidelined some 5 weeks with a back injury. How healthy will he be? American defending champion Todd Eldridge, he too, with a back injury, did not compete in the recent nationals. So as we look ahead to Albertville, injuries may well dictate a surprise gold medal winner.
I'm learning to fly, but I ain't got wings. Coming down is the hardest thing.
The demands of faster, higher, and more powerful jumps has left world champion Kurt Browning injured and out of competition. Two-time U.S. champion Todd Eldridge also forced to drop out of the U.S. national championships, again due to an injured back.
The hardest thing was to be at nationals and to have to sit and watch instead of compete. You know, that gets really frustrating that I know that I should be out there and skating the way I can. But with my back and knowing that I couldn't skate the way I could, you know, that kind of takes a little bit of pressure off and eases my mind a little bit, knowing that I can't really be out there doing what I want.
Todd is in Boston undergoing physical therapy. He was granted a spot on the U.S. Olympic team because of his past achievements. The challenge, can he erase thoughts of real pain and meet the test of the triples?
The two jumps that bothered him most were his triple axel and his triple toe loop. And he reported that he would feel the pain as he was developing the pressure for takeoff on his right foot. And as soon as he took off, he would then feel like a sharp pain, almost a knife-like pain in his lower back, and that he basically then interrupted his jump and was not able to complete the normal revolutions. So long as he is able to pace his training, I think he should be able to remain active and competitive.
Browning is also undergoing intense physical therapy to reduce the pain incurred by a slipped disc in his back. He too was given a bye onto Canada's Olympic team. Browning continues to receive his country's support, even from long distance, at this year's Grey Cup game, Canada's Super Bowl.
Well, Kurt can't be with us today. A back injury precludes him from traveling, but he's standing by in Edmonton.
Hello, everybody in Winnipeg. Wish I could join you. Have a good time. See you in Albertville.
Kurt anxiously watched the Canadian Nationals with his fellow world champion and friend Kristi Yamaguchi. Long distance didn't ease the pain.
Oh, I should be there. I should be waiting to skate next.
Kurt is in training with hopes he'll be 100% ready for his showdown in Albertville. But what once came so easily for this champion is no longer a given.
When I do the quad, I don't feel tight in the air, and I don't feel, whatever it is that makes it feel like a jump. I just get into it and I feel I'm searching for something instead of just doing it.
I spoke with Kurt Browning last week, and he's showing noticeable concern. It's been a difficult time for him, but he is training, taking it day by day, and things are getting better. But he's a man used to pushing our sport athletically, first with the quad and then the triple-triple combinations. It's not in his nature to be cautious.
Christopher Bowman joins us. Are the men trying to reach too far athletically? You've had an injured back a couple of years ago that denied you a competition. What's your theory?
Well, my theory really is that skating has come so far and we can still take it farther. It's just up to us to be really trained and well prepared to and in good shape to handle these things that are going to be coming up into our future. They are inevitable. It's going to be happening. Kurt Browning even has showed us that the quad is going to be a thing to come for the competitions from the 90s on.
About your own fitness, before the Nationals, you commented that you weren't exactly 100%, but you look terrific now.
Yeah, I feel really good right now. Before the Nationals, I was not in any type of condition. I really didn't know quite where I stood. I wanted to peak at the Olympic Games, not at the Nationals, but yet I have to be able to be in the shape that I can perform my best at the Nationals. All these things were a bit tasking, but now I've come out of the Nationals with a win. I'm skating well. I got right back on the ice. I feel good, and I'm looking forward to bringing it down a notch and then sending it up, skyrocketing for Olympics.
3 weeks ago, you decided to change coaches, though. You were with Tyler Cranston. Now you're back here in California with John Nix. What prompted that decision?
Well, basically, Tyler Cranston and Ellen Burke, my two coaches in Toronto, understood that I was not happy being in Toronto. Tyler decided that it would be probably best for me to go back and kind of test out what was happening at home and take a little time off. At that point, there really wasn't a lot of time to do that and get back into the training. We decided that it would be best for me to come back home with my family and my friends and settle down with somebody that could help me to accomplish what I needed to accomplish in the period of time that I had to work with, and the best person for that job was John Nix.
And it's working for you now?
And it's worked 100%. I mean, he's taken me to the national championships, and I now have that win under my belt, so you can't be any better than that.
So what do you see for yourself at the Olympics?
I'm looking forward to the Olympics. I'm going to probably have myself a very jolly old good time. But all in all, it's going to be a very serious thing because I really want to skate my very best, and I want to be able to represent the United States of America in the best possible fashion. It's important that I just do well for myself and do everything I can to get a medal.
Is the public perception of you, Christopher, an accurate one, that you are a rebel, that perhaps you don't take your sport seriously enough, that you walk on a different side of the street than the skater that we most normally would associate with being a gold medal contender?
Well, I wouldn't say maybe I don't take myself as seriously as an athlete, but I would have to say, as far as skating goes, I do take it very seriously. And it means a lot to me. Skating is really the biggest part of my life, and it's my only love, really. What can I say? I'm just, when I go out there to skate, I give it every drop of my blood, and I skate each performance as if it were my last.
And when will we see you last as an amateur skater?
That's a very good question. Stay tuned on your local network.
Well, this is one. How about a hint? Will you skate through the Worlds?
Well, like I said, you gotta have to wait and see. We're gonna keep that open.
Well, we'll let you wait and see with us as we look at Peter Barna and Victor Petrenko as they competed in Lausanne, Switzerland. That's coming right up.
Here's 25-year-old Peter Barna from Prague, second to Victor Petrenko in the Europeans the last 2 years, but in first place in this competition. This is the free skate. Barna had an unbeatable lead over Petrenko. The Russian had fallen and finished fourth after the original program. A classical music enthusiast, he's skating to music from the motion picture Hamlet. Last year, Barna skated to Prokofiev's Romeo and Juliet, so he's working his way through Shakespeare.
Although Peter doesn't have a triple axel in his repertoire, he is one of maybe 5 men who's able to do a quad, and he opened with it. And that was a beautiful jump, and he just wasn't able to hold the landing.
Barna's an avid reader, and last year he chastised the Americans for playing too many video games instead of sitting down enjoying a good book. perhaps the most cerebral of the world skating competitors.
Solid attempt at the triple-triple combination, something that world champion Kurt Browning has pressured others to try.
In last year's World Championships, Barna finished 4th behind Browning, Petrenko, and the American Todd Eldridge. He's considered an outside chance for a medal in the upcoming Olympics. Barna talks about retiring. He's married now, expects his first child in 2 months.
Nice triple loop. Peter's always excelled in the short program, but has often had trouble getting through a clean long program.
His style reminds me of Paul Wiley, the American, who has made the Olympics again.
The difference, I think, though, is that Barna continues to choose very dark themes to skate to, which don't necessarily work for him, because I find that in a competitive situation, it's better to choose music that inspires instead of intimidates.
Finish, but in his 8th try, Peter Barna of Prague, Czechoslovakia, won his first European title. And next to skate, Victor Petrenko, the defending European champion, when we return. This is 22-year-old Victor Petrenko from Odessa on the Black Sea in the Ukraine. Second in the world's last year to Kurt Browning. And the defending European champion. And the Ukrainian flag salutes this extraordinarily talented athlete. To win this competition, the performance became an exercise to see about those triple-triple combinations. Oh, that's magnificent.
That was gorgeous. Triple axel, triple toe. triple loop. This performance was full of silly mistakes. He did the hard things and missed all the easy ones.
But unfortunately, that's been a pattern for Petrenko.
Gorgeous triple lutz, triple toe.
Petrenko burst on the scene at age 18 in the Olympic Games in Calgary, finishing third, taking the bronze behind Brian Boitano and Brian Orser.
Technique is beautiful, his body line exquisite. But it really is time for him to get a new program. This is the third year we're watching this.
And apparently this is what he'll present at the Olympic Games and the Worlds, or not?
It is. If he skates it well, it won't matter, but unfortunately the excitement will not be there for the audience.
Nor the judges.
That's right. Championships, this was the point of the program where Victor thought he won the competition. He landed his second triple axel of the program. Here it was only a double. For the Olympics, he will need that second triple.
Victor Petrenko seemingly saving something for later on. Nevertheless, the top free skating program, he rallied to finish second behind Barna and remains a top contender for the gold in Albertville.
So Peter Barna wins the European Championship, his first, not totally impressive. Victor Petrenko finishes second. We have Kurt Browning, the three-time world champion. We don't know his condition, how serious it is, his back injury. Todd Eldridge, who was the national champion, American champion last year. Christopher Bowman seems to be, at this point, emotionally and physically in the best position of all.
That is kind of frightening, isn't it? Yeah, it's kind of interesting because usually I'm the one that's behind on training or might have had to overcome certain injuries throughout the year. It's disappointing that people are going through that right now. Unfortunately, I'm okay. Fortunately, I'm okay. Unfortunately, they're going to have, to overcome some obstacles, but I know that they will, and I'm looking forward to competing against all of them, and that's what, as a skater and as an athlete, that's what you live for. It's going to be really exciting.
Boitano thinks so too, and would have liked the opportunity to show it at this month's Winter Olympics in Albertville. The image of Brian Boitano triumphantly winning the Olympic gold in 1988 is now an indelible image, as memorable as any in American sports history. Since then, Boitano, like most Olympians, has moved on to a career in show business. Currently, he skates in a hit ice show alongside another Olympic gold medalist, Katarina Witt. Boitano would like nothing more than to compete again for another Olympic medal. But unlike other sports like tennis and basketball, figure skating doesn't allow professional skaters to compete in the Olympics. Thus, Boitano, still in peak form, must sit on the sidelines this winter in Albertville. Well, earlier today, I talked with Boitano, who is performing in Florida, and asked him his reaction to not being allowed to compete in the Albertville Games.
After seeing Steffi Graf in the 1988 Olympics in Seoul when I went over there win, I had a lot of hope that I'd be able to try to defend my title. But then in 1990 they made a ruling that professionals would be allowed in figure skating, but only if they appeared in sanctioned events by their union. And there were a lot of boundaries based on what they considered professionals, and they didn't grandfather me into that. For 2 years, those 2 years, 1988 and 1989, starting from 1990, they were starting anew, and they didn't grandfather me or make the rules retroactive.
How hard did you fight to try to make it happen?
I petitioned the International Skating Union. I wrote a petition letter to the skating union speaking on behalf of myself and the sport, how I think it would improve the sport, and how I would like to appear in the 1992 Olympics, and I didn't get a response. I don't think really anybody, I don't feel like anybody supported me. I don't feel that I got a lot of support from the association, our own United States Figure Skating Association, and unless you have the support of your association, you can't get the votes to counteract what the other votes from Europe are doing.
Why don't you think they supported you?
Well, I think that figure skating is a power sport. Everybody likes being, in a powerful position. And I think that when you start speaking out and other people don't agree with you and you're shot down, then you lose some of your status.
If you had been allowed to skate in Albertville against the competition that exists right now in the world, how well do you think you would have done?
Well, I don't like to assume anything. It's a little frustrating because I understand that the men's event is plagued with injuries and a lot of guys are having a very difficult time. But believe me, if I had been training these 4 years, nobody would be having a hard time, I'm sure. So I actually feel that I'm at the top of my game now. I feel that I'm the skater that I want to be, and I feel strong. I feel strong about my skating and about myself physically, mentally. So I think that I could have skated well, maybe, but you never know because the pressure that you feel in an Olympic event can take over in the matter of a second.
Do you feel this is really terribly unfair to you?
No, I feel disappointed that I'm not able to do it. And I feel disappointed that I don't think it's the best thing for skating. I think that skating will not improve as an amateur and professional group event until they decide to combine both. So the future of skating I see as going the professional way of tennis, how tennis has gone. And I don't think it's a really smart way for the International Skating Union to conduct business, really, because professionals are going to band together, especially after this Olympics, get their own association together and start going out and doing Wimbledons and U.S. Opens and French Opens.
How will you feel? You're going to Albertville. How will you feel sitting there watching and not being able to be on the ice?
I will probably feel disappointed and relieved because I wouldn't want to go through the fear and the frustration and the stress that those men are going to go through when I'm watching them. But there's a little part inside me, a flame that still burns, that would like to be there. So it's a real mixed bag.
At Albertville, Boitano will be watching to see if Americans Christopher Bowman, Todd Elridge, and Paul Wiley can equal his Olympic gold medal performance of 1988. And just to remember,
at last year's World Championships, 1991 U.S. champion Tonya Harding followed with a silver medal, and and Nancy Kerrigan. A surprising third completed the unprecedented 1-2-3 U.S. sweep. Together, they face only one imposing threat on their way to Albertville. Japan's Midori Ito, whose hopes for the world title last year took a tragic crash. A heartbroken Ito tried to smile through a disappointing fourth-place finish. She then headed back to Japan to continue her quest to become the first ever Japanese woman to win a Winter Olympic gold medal. Ito is a true national hero. She was quickly back on the ice, training with a new vigor. And she has skated powerfully this year, winning 2 major titles, the NHK, as well as the LaLigue Championship Trophy. As a national treasure, Midori represented Nagano, Japan, successfully campaigning for the right to host the '98 Winter Olympic Games.
Konnichiwa. Bonjour. Good afternoon. You are used to seeing a skating costume, but today I'm wearing a furisode. This is a special kimono worn by young Japanese women on important occasions. It shows I'm truly honored to be here today. Now, Nagano would like to welcome the Olympic athletes in '98.
Meanwhile, training in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada, world champion Kristi Yamaguchi now living on her own for the first time. Her Olympic plans included one stop on the way to Albertville. That was to successfully win her first U.S. championship. 3 times she had finished second. Silver medals behind the mature and stylish Jill Trenery in '89 and '90 came at a time for growth. '91 was to be her year, but Tonya Harding landed the first triple axel ever completed by an American woman. And again, Kristi saw another U.S. title denied. 3 weeks ago, her time finally arrived in Orlando. Kristi had that elusive national title.
It was probably the best performance I've ever put on, and I landed the triple style, which has always given me problems, and the rest of the program was strong also. And it's my first national title in singles, and something I feel I've been working towards and working for. And even though I was world champion, without that national title, it felt like maybe something was missing.
What still is missing for Kristi is the triple axel, but her programs feature all the other triples, plus a quality and skating charisma currently unmatched.
I think the most obvious thing is the triple axel, that separates Tonya, Midori, and myself. Me, without having the triple axel, I have to work with other things that I have. Just improve my jumps as much as I can, and just work on the total program.
So looking ahead, will Tonya recover from her ankle injury? Will Kristi's elegance be the difference again? Or will Nancy have even a bigger surprise for us? Or will Midori Ito interrupt another American sweep and beat them all?
Japan's Ito, America's Harding are the only 2 ladies ever to land the difficult triple axel in competition. So, Sandra, is it realistic for Kristi Yamaguchi to expect the gold when she doesn't have that jump in her repertoire?
Sure, it's realistic, and I think she's proven it twice. Last year at the World Championships and this year at U.S. Nationals. It's the overall performance that counts, and there's a lot more to figure skating than triple axels. However, I think this year at the Olympics, if there are 2 clean performances, then the one with the triple axel will most likely win.
And that would favor an Ito or a Harding if all things were equal. There are athletes that are acrobats in skating, and there are athletes who bring us style and elegance, and that's where Yamaguchi fits, and that's where others may be studying to seek improvement. One of those young skaters, Surya Bonali of France. She won the European Championship last year acrobatically. Can she bring style to 1992? We'll see her in action from Lausanne, Switzerland, when we return.
From Nice, France, Surya Bonali won the Europeans last year at age 17, repeated this year, admittedly against a less than powerful field. Very athletic, Bonali, a former junior world tumbling champion, working on improving her style and technique.
Her skating has improved. However, she is still known for the jumps. Watch this triple-triple combination. Very nice.
Adopted just after birth by Zen Buddhists who named her Surya, son in Hindi. Grew up in a meager situation, a trailer in the hills above Nice in the south of France.
And another interesting note, she's never had a haircut. That hair is all braided and must take hours to wrap up.
Imagine the tremendous attention that she'll draw during the Albertville Olympic Games. The French press, the French fans, there'll be considerable pressure on this young woman. To medal, she'll have to beat Midori Ito or one of the three top Americans.
This is her first honest attempt at a choreographed program. And in a way, I think by doing more in between the jumps, she's finding it a little bit more difficult to land those jumps. But it's a good sign for her skating and for the future. I think she should maybe be looking more towards 94.
The gold medal winner, the European Championships in Lausanne, Switzerland. She'll be Europe's top hope in the upcoming Olympic Games. The highlight of the European Championships, ice dancing, which we'll share with you next.
To Costa Mesa, California. In a moment, we'll return to the Mallet Ice Center in Lausanne, Switzerland for the European Figure Skating Championships. It was interesting, reports from Switzerland that the only sellout of the competition was for ice dancing, not always the most popular of the disciplines. And part of the reason was the expectation the world champions would be there, the Duchesnays from France. But mysteriously, Paul Duchenet came up with an injury, and they withdrew from the competition. Now, come on, what's the real story?
Well, Dick, I don't know. This is figure skating, and rumors are flying. Maybe he's injured, maybe he's not. But what we do know is that early in January, Paul and Isabel debuted their new performance to West Side Story, and apparently it was met with a cool review. So apparently, they've been re-choreographing ever since.
Didn't they do that last year before the Worlds?
That's right. Last year at the European Championships, they had a very unsuccessful performance. Well, the performance was fine. The reception was unsuccessful. And therefore, they went home and threw out the music, did a completely new program, and won Worlds.
So maybe they've learned from that experience. They figure this is the way to the Olympic gold medal as well. Well, without the Duchesnays in the competition, the European Championships went to the, not the Soviets, but to the Russians, the CIS, the Commonwealth of Independent States, 1, 2, 3.
And here's the couple that won the bronze medal in Lausanne, and Odessa-born Oksana Gritschuk and Yevgeny Platov. She's just 20. He's 24. They're rapidly rising. Finished 4th in Munich last March.
Is the most traditional of the 3 Russian couples we'll be watching, choosing music that has obvious dance rhythm. And we'll be watching an interesting progression of style from this couple to Usava Julin to Klimova and Ponomarenko.
Well, I may be a sucker for a smile, but I enjoy the fact that she shares her fun with the audience. Very expressive. They're coached by Natalia Dubova, the former coach of Klimova and Ponomarenko.
Dubova, along with Christopher Dean, choreographer to the Duchesnays, lead the way in the ice dancing revolution.
Oksana Gritsuk and Yevgeny Platov, third in the European Championships. Certainly they'll bear watching, especially in the 1994 Olympics in Lillehammer. And we'll have more ice dancing, the gold and silver medalists, after these words from your local station. Back in Lausanne, winning the European silver medal last week, 27-year-old Maya Usova and Alexandra Zulin. He's 28. This married couple skated brilliantly at the Worlds last year. Remember, many thought that they were better than the Duchesnays and Klimova and Ponomarenko, but took a close third. Usova and Zulin.
And it is a new age in ice dancing. The purists still want to see erect bodies in traditional dance holds skating fancy footwork to the cha-cha, but look where dance is now.
This to Vivaldi's Four Seasons. Second place, they've never beaten Klimova and Ponomarenko, and they didn't in Lausanne. but so talented, just trapped behind their countrymen. Maya Usova, Alexander Zulin, they possess the talent to pull an Olympic upset. The 1992 European Championships at the Mallet Ice Center in Lausanne, Switzerland. Last week, Moscovites Marina Klimova and Sergei Ponomarenko won their 4th European title with this magnificent program.
Skating to Bach, they've entitled this piece A Man and a Woman, and it's about statues coming to life. They've skated together for 12 years since he was 19 and picked her at age 13. They were married 8 years ago, and their love for one another is reflected in their sensuous skating performance again. And they are considered to be the finest of ice dancers in the world today. The way their bodies work together, the intricate footwork, the unison, the fluidity. 3 years ago, they were skating to My Fair Lady. Look where it is now.
Oh, my. Marina Klimova, Sergei Ponomarenko, gold medal winners again at the European Championships, and perhaps the highlight of the entire competition.
I'm sitting here watching a monitor and I have shivers.
A dramatic victory for Klimova and Ponomarenko as they capture another European title, their fourth. It's interesting, Sandra, to check their Olympic history. In '84, they won the bronze. They took the silver in '88, and they're on course to win the gold here in '92. Can they do it?
Well, they sure are in a great position, having won European Championships with 4 perfect marks. I'm sure the Duchesnays are feeling the pressure. They're at home scrambling, re-choreographing, but we have to remember that they will be skating in front of their home audience, and those French fans are going to be wild.
It'll be electric in Albertville. We'll look forward to that in the Olympic Games. We thank you, Sandra Bezic, Gil Gardner in New York. I'm Dick Enberg. We will remind you we'll next be visiting from Oakland, California in late March when NBC Sports brings you the World Figure Skating Championships. Till then,